There are many different wireless technologies in the industry nowadays, right? And especially with the proliferation of IoT devices, several new standards and technologies have been created. One of the key standards is the 802.11 standard. It defines a link layer wireless protocol and is managed by the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineer, otherwise known as the IEEE. Most people out there think that 802.1x is just actually Wi-Fi, but it's not. It's actually more than Wi-Fi, right? So Wi-Fi is actually just a subset of the 802.11 standard. And now Wi-Fi itself is actually managed by the Wi-Fi Alliance. And basically the Wi-Fi Alliance was created because the 802.11 standard is actually pretty complex. And also, since its complexity, many vendors can run into a lot of interoperability issues when implementing their own interpretation of the standard. So pretty much all the major wireless equipment manufacturers out there decided that they needed a smaller, more agile group dedicated to maintaining the interoperability of the Wi-Fi standards and also to promote the actual technology, right? That's why you see the Wi-Fi certified logo in most of the boxes of your wireless devices, right? So whenever you buy a wireless device for your home, you may actually see that Wi-Fi logo, right? So the Wi-Fi certified logo. Now, basic wireless functionality is enabled whenever a radio device can be a receiver or a transmitter or both, right? And it actually announces its presence to make a connection to another device, right? Now, there are many different frequencies out there, right, that are used for wireless connectivity. They actually vary in wavelengths, in signal intensity, in the actual error rate, also, the way that it performs, mobility features and what we call the broadcast cone, right? So depending on the standard and depending on the usage, these actually frequencies will actually change. In this course, we will focus on hacking Wi-Fi or wireless LAN devices, right? However, there are many other technologies and standards out there. For example, the third generation partnership project, or the 3GPP, is the actual organization responsible for the standards associated with GSM, UMTS, LTE, and now 5G, right? Now I'm sharing their website here for your reference, right? And their about page in here. And basically what they claim is that they unite 7 telecommunication standards, which I'm highlighting here: the ARIB, ATIS, CCSA, ETSI, TSDSI, TTA, and TTC, right? There are 3 technical specification groups, or TSGs, in 3GPP, right? And those are the Radio Access Network, or RAN, the Service and Systems Aspect, or SA, or the Core Network and Terminals, CT. Another standards organization that you may be familiar with is the Internet Engineering Task Force, or the IETF, right? It is an international organization open to anyone that is interested in understanding or progressing the architectures and technologies used in the internet, right? Working groups and topics and discussions are mostly handled by mailing lists, right? By email. But they actually, do meet, fairly regularly across the world, right? Now, the IETF is responsible for the standards that are related with the IP suite of protocols, right? That's why you see standards like BGP, OSPF, and many others actually being developed there, right? So many of the protocols developed by the IETF could actually be abused and exploited by hackers, right? So that's actually why nowadays the IETF is actually trying to address how to secure the protocols currently in development and also in use, right? Not only the new protocols that are being created, but also protocols that has been, in existence for quite some time, and how to actually harden those, right? Now, earlier I mentioned the IEEE, and IEEE is actually one of the largest organizations for technology professionals, right? That's where the 802.11 series of standards were created and new standards are actually being developed, right? Here I'm actually showing their website for your reference. In this website, you can get information about all the 802.11 standards and other standards besides just the wireless LAN standards, right? So for example, the 802.15 standard or series of standards define standards for wireless personal area networks or wireless PANs, right? An example of that is Bluetooth, right? You may be familiar with Bluetooth, of course. Bluetooth is actually a wireless technology standard for exchanging data over short distances, right? And actually, does this by using short wavelengths, UHF radio waves from fixed and mobile devices, right? And then actually building a personal area network or a PAN. Now, Bluetooth was originally defined by the 802.11.1 IEEE standard, but is now managed by the Bluetooth Special Interest Group, or SIG, within the IEEE. Another one is the 802.16 standard, right? And it defines standards for broadband wireless metropolitan area networks, or MANs. The .11 defines standards for TV white space coexistence methods. The .20 defines standards for mobile broadband wireless access, or MBWA. The .21 defines standards for media independent handover services. And the .22 defines standards for the wireless regional area networks. Now, there are many other wireless technologies out there, especially for IoT, right? Things like Z-Wave and Zigbee, right? Zigbee is actually another IEEE standards based on the 802.15.4 specification for a suite of protocols that are actually used to create a personal area network with small, low-power digital radios. These are used for things like home automation or medical device data collection and other low-power, low-bandwidth needs, right? So these are designed for small-scale projects which need wireless connectivity, right, and IoT devices. Now, there's also a newer protocol called LoRa, or LoRaWAN, right? So basically, LoRaWAN is a media access control protocol for wide area networks, and it's actually designed to allow low-power devices to actually communicate with the internet-connected applications over a long range instead of a short range wireless connection, right? And here I'm actually showing their website, so you can actually get more information about them, right? Now, another popular standard that often can be considered a wireless standard or a set of standards is the Near Field Communication, or NFC, technology standards, right? And I'm showing here, their website for a reference, or who maintains the NFC technology standards, and it's actually very popular nowadays for things like batch readers or, of course, mobile phones, right? So typically NFC is used whenever you pay with your phone or interact with other systems, right? So whenever you transfer pictures from one phone to another phone, whenever you swipe your badge at your office, that may be actually done over NFC, and many other applications, even gaming, for example. Again, this course will focus on the 802.11 suite of protocols, but I actually wanted to provide you with a high-level overview of all these other protocols for your reference.